Welcome back to the hand embroidery tutorial series, where we are going through some basic embroidery stitches whilst decorating the Sophie Garden tote bag. This week is a recap video and we'll be looking back at straight stitches, fly stitches and lazy daisies. Before getting started, we need to prep our sewing threads, our embroidery threads. So cut yourself a long length of the colour that you would like to use, and then we are pulling out 2 strands of thread and we will double that over with a loop at one end. What we'll do is then have the loop at the end where you would normally have your knot, and then we'll get ready to sew. I'll be starting by sewing a straight stitch, and I'll be joining my thread at the back of the work by coming up at the start of my straight stitch. I'm not going to pull it through. I'm going to leave the loop on the back of the work, and then I will go down on the other end of the straight stitch, and then I will pass my needle through the loop that's on the back and then pull it tight to secure my work. I've done it that way this week because the stitches that I'm working on are quite a long distance from the stitches that I've already done, so I can't loop the thread around a previous stitch on the back. So to join my thread to my work, I'm bringing my needle up at the start of my straight stitch. I'm passing my needle back down again at the end of my straight stitch. And this is where you'll see me hunt for my needle. There it is. Pull my thread and you'll see me pass the needle through my loop. And I've secured my thread to the back of the work whilst making the first straight stitch. I'm using the U shape of the design for the fly stitches, so you'll see me come up at the left hand side top of the U shape. I'm going to pull my thread through. I'm going to hold the thread out of the way. I'm going to go down at the top right hand side of a U shape. I'll pull it most of the way through. I want to keep a loop there. Then I'm going to bring the needle up at the base of that U shape in the middle there and pull my needle up, and I'll pull that loop tight and then pass the thread over the top, inserting my needle back down through the same hole that I came up in to couch the stitch in place. And that's your fly stitch. So I'm going to do that twice more as I move along the design. And then I've got a straight stitch that I want to finish off at the end of that part of the design. So I'm going to come up at the base of the stitch and go back down at the top. Now I'm going to be doing the little oval shape as a lazy daisy. So I'm bringing my needle up at one side of the oval and I pass it back down again in the same hole, exactly the same hole. I'm not going to pull the thread tight. I want to keep a loop, and I'm going to bring my needle back up again at the other side of the oval shape, so right in the center there, with the needle coming up through the middle of the loop. I'm going to shape it, pull it tight, and then the thread goes over the top of the loop we've made and the needle passes back down the exact same hole to couch it in place. And that is your lazy daisy. And then I'll move back onto the next part of the design, starting with straight stitches, then the 3 fly stitches, sometimes known as a Y stitch, followed by another straight stitch at the end, and then another lazy daisy at the point Feel free to pause, rewind and rewatch until you get the hang of these stitches. They look very decorative. Sometimes they may seem a little bit more complicated just by looking at them, but they really are quite simple stitches. I look forward to seeing how you use them in your projects. If you've enjoyed this series of hand embroidery mini tutorials, feel free to click the subscribe button. Click on the bell to receive notifications of new videos going live. And you can even follow us on patreon.com at Unravel and Unwind for a variety of other videos, tutorials, product reviews and more. We also do daily craft and chats online for all our patrons, and those on the higher tiers also get access to early release videos and crochet patterns and a variety of other craft projects. Thank you for watching.